coming. We can go back to Rama now and talk more about our closing keynote, and then I'll share more about what those awards are as soon as we hear what Rama has to say. If we can switch to the slide, here's Rama. He's the founder of Satellite. And Rama is an ex-SpaceX Starlink product manager and cloud architect and AI startup manager at Google. He was a telco business lead at Tesla and holds 2 degrees in mechanical engineering and business management from University of Cape Town. Rama dropped out of his master's in space system engineering at Johns Hopkins University to pursue his endeavors in space. He's actually quite a seasoned SpaceX hacker himself. He joined us a few years back, then he became our mentor, then he became our Google sponsor, and he brought tons of Googlers to help you guys on one of our hackathons. And now he pursues a CEO entrepreneurship avenue with his business, with his new venture. So it's really important to see how he has this full circle moment of community and building and growing. Many of your ideas, if you were to make them a business, we can help you launch them or accelerate them. Our non-for-profit is called International Space Alliance. You can find us at isaspace.com. We are a non-for-profit, and hopefully my team will drop the link in the chat, where we're focusing on 3 pillars. So our pillars are, the first one is flagship events like this one. We try to partner with our partners like Google, NASA Ames, and Microsoft and other partners to host these events that are building capacity, offering free resources, and making innovation happen. That is one avenue. Our second pillar is research and development and grant writing. That is my avenue. I kind of like am the front person for that. And we partner for a lot of grants, especially those scientific or NASA grants, like let's say the NASA Trish grant, with huge companies like Axiom Space, Voyager Space, Leap Next Frontier, Blue Abyss, etc., to win those grants and have our research and development happen, whether that's in universities that are leading cutting edge research or companies. And our third part that's led by Joaquin is the Lunar Labs Accelerator, where we again accelerate from early stage founders in a small 6-week program, your incredible ideas in a way that we can aid these flagship events to something more meaningful in the Bay Area, because the Bay Area has a lot of opportunities for growth and scaling that doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. It's unique to here. So we want to accelerate your ideas into something more meaningful. But Rama, as a hacker, has been a really profound member of our community, and we're gonna just play you the video now of what he had to say for you guys. So stay tuned.
My name is Rama Ochieng Afullo. I am the founder and CEO of Satellite, and we network satellites in space using software by linking one line of code onto your satellite and help you monetize your excess compute capacity in space. In terms of my background, I'm Kenyan born. I've born and raised in Kenya, Botswana, and South Africa. Thereafter, I lived in the Netherlands and in Ireland before moving to the US just over 4 years ago. I'm a mechanical engineer and a space systems engineer, and I worked across Tesla, Google, and SpaceX over the last decade or so. I think just before starting my startup. And the startup really is an amalgamation of these 3 different companies and the work that I did at them. At SpaceX, I was in the energy products division looking at telecoms and sort of replacing diesel gensets with lithium-ion batteries, the Tesla Powerwall. At Google, I worked in ad sales and then in cloud engineering. And I think the cloud side of, what we do ends up really being at the intersection of space, AI, and the cloud. And then finally at SpaceX, I was working as a product manager for Starlink. And while there, of course, like direct implication there in terms of being the space technology business and finding ways to monetize that and turn that into a real business as well. So I did that for a while, and that I think has led me to what we're building today at Satellite. Our first customer really is the satellite operators, so folks who own the satellites and space agencies and governments and the like. right? So we've got a direct partnership with NASA. Is one of the STTR grant winners this year, one of the 47, and with a bunch of other space agencies. And then we've also got partnerships with commercial satellite operators. I think, first of all, what we want to be able to do is to reduce the amount of data that comes down from satellites down to the ground by a significant amount, right? When up to 90%. Right, and that helps folks to start thinking about space-to-space communications in a different way, right? That way you can use this sort of hive mind, this distributed brain, right, to solve problems in space without having to send them down, right? That changes how folks think about like what we do in space, right? And then how we actually send the data down as well. We can use other satellites within this network as a relay. So I think there's a good analogy for what we're doing. Like you said, we're the above cloud service provider. So like it's similar to doing what Google Cloud and Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure are doing, right? And so instead of having all your data sit on the satellite and then get sent down, you are now allowing this data to be dispersed among a whole bunch of other satellites compared to what Google does with a whole bunch of other data centers, where your sort of data is sent to, right? And then in the end as well, with a bunch of the folks who are putting up larger and larger hardware into space and building out new space stations and new data centers in space, et cetera, we end up being a controlling node, right? A controlling sort of application layer that controls the way these nodes interact with each other, right? And eventually, I mean, we'll get to a point where the amount of data being processed here on Earth is like way too much for the ROI of terrible water quality and just really bad pollution for folks here on Earth. So instead, what we end up doing is moving a lot of that over to space, right? As the sort of cost of launch and the cost of putting things in space decreases significantly. And of course, at Satellite, we want to be that software layer that enables the entire ecosystem. I just signed our contract with NASA yesterday, so that's moving forward. We're talking to a bunch of different space agencies out there, Luxembourg, Saudi Arabia, etc., you name it, right? But I think in the developing markets, like I think that, so like I mentioned, I'm Kenyan, right, originally, and in the development markets, we have a lot of folks who want some sort of space sovereignty, want to be involved in the space ecosystem, don't know how. It's very capex intensive, can be very expensive for a lot of folks to own their own satellites in space and to operate them themselves. But they do want to be able to access space in some capacity, right? So Kenya has, I think, 3 satellites, 2 or 3 or so, right? But other African countries, I believe only 19 of the 54 African nations have their own satellites, right? And of course, Africa is the continent with the most countries, right? So it's got a lot of different folks out there who this might not be the number one priority, right? But harnessing that data is going to be super crucial for a lot of people. So what we end up doing is creating a way for folks, even on the ground, to be able to access and task satellites in ways that they hadn't previously thought of before. I think that the experiences I've been really lucky to have has shaped the way I look at things in terms of, asking whether or not something is possible is probably a good idea. Right. But for the most part, I've built and I've seen things that other folks thought would never happen, wouldn't be possible, you couldn't do, and then done it. And doing that under the guise of like companies that have already made it is a lot easier, right? I'd say, right? Now doing it with a company that hasn't made it yet, we're a 1-year-old startup, right? It's very different. So I think my views have been shaped by a lot of that, by how like having lived in 6 different countries and 3 continents, right? That definitely changes your perspective. You grow to quickly realize that humans from all parts and walks of the earth will annoy you just the same, right? So that's definitely something that I think for me is top of mind. It's like, you know, the way I view life and view a lot of experiences has been shaped by my personal experiences, and hopefully I can help folks who maybe don't see that sort of thing or don't have that sort of exposure to look at life differently. And one thing I would love to experience at some point in my life is the overview effect of being in space and looking down and realizing that, hey, we are really dumb to be fighting the way we are, because it's one connected mass of humans just deciding to fight amongst ourselves. And maybe at the same time, I look up and I see like aliens coming for us. I'm like, well, that's going to unify us, right? Anyways, I mean, Google's doing already, right? They've got Firesat. They've got so I think that's a collaboration with Moore on Space and a bunch of other folks to like look at wildfire detection, right? And Google's been very involved. They bought Skybox for $500 million, like 10 years ago or something, right? So they've been looking at this. I know they're interested in data centers in space. We were part of the Google AI Academy for American Infrastructure, one of only 17 startups. And in the previous cohort as well, they had another space data center company as part of that cohort. So there's clear interest, right, from the Google folks in terms of what we're building and how we should go about doing things. I think some of the other folks as well. I mean, Amazon is deeply invested. Like they're working with different folks. Like they've got the Amazon Ground Station, and they're doing what they can in that regard. Microsoft Azure Space, I haven't heard too much from them of late, so I don't know if they're still actually super active or not. I think that what folks are doing right now is the right path. I expect that at some point, some of these large hyperscaler, large cloud service providers will actually start using what we're doing as a potential above cloud region, right? And I think that is the way to start thinking about it. So how do we look at space-to-space comms, and how do we service that? And then how do we also tap into the space ecosystem to help us out in terms of what we're doing here on Earth? Yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting in China, because like a lot of the things that were used as impediments to them has actually helped accelerate a lot of things, right? Like here in the US, we've got ITAR arms regulations and EAR arms regulations that are like focused on like making sure that there's export controls for anything that's space related that could be potentially part of the military or militarized, or etc. Some of these folks out there, like China, they don't have those rules, right? And those regulations actually end up propelling them forward, right? Like they've got a bunch of folks looking at distributed networks and actually already doing it, already building it out, right, in orbit, right? I've got to go through the FCC, ITU, et cetera, a whole bunch of three-letter organizations, right, to figure out if things are even a possibility. Like much easier for me to register a company here for sure, but I think there's definitely things out there that we can do a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, props to some of these folks out there, right? Like from outside the US, who are able to go about doing a bunch of things like really quickly, or putting the pedal to the metal, and it puts some stress on people here. There's a critical window of which we need to be able to do this. I think SpaceX is consolidating power. They're buying up spectrum, right? And they are a vertically integrated closed ecosystem. We need a counterweight to what they're doing. And that counterweight is very simple. We find ways to create an Android equivalent to SpaceX's iPhone, right? And with that, we end up being the marketplace. We own their app store, right? And folks can build freely in an open way, like by connecting and uplinking our software onto their satellites, right? But as a result of that as well, as a result of that, they can monetize the excess capacity. They can sell into other satellites that are within this network, right? And ends up being sort of this distributed brain that can work across the ecosystem, and it's a brain that we we own. For folks who want to build something in space, the very best way to do that is to start, right? There's never been an easier time to build, but also there have never been high expectations of what it is that you end up building. think that it's fairly easy for people to make a decision to go build some ChatGPT wrapper in the fintech space, or to build another lovable or Bolt or Replit clone or whatever it might be, like go vibe code a vibe coding app, right? I think that's what a lot of people are aiming for, because they want to sell some shovels. But I think that in the space ecosystem, there's lots of opportunity. There's lots that we can do within the space AI and cloud connector as well. And I hope that folks go about doing it. And if you're interested as well, firstly, if you want to work somewhere that is actually pushing this, feel free to reach out to me. If you are interested in deep diving a little bit more in terms of my journey, or asking me some questions to some of your ideas, also feel free to reach out to me. But at the end of the day, I think every day is a gift, and what we do about addressing the gifts that we've been given is the only prerogative we have on a daily basis. And I hope you all just go after it, because space is hard, but space is also super rewarding.
That was Rama, and we are so grateful for his thoughts. He definitely is building really cool solutions, and it's always a pleasure to hear from him. Anyways, if we can go for the next slide, so I can show you the trophies of this year. The trophies this year, by the way, we always try to partner up with maker spaces and communities that make things. And we always have, I think, the most creative, elaborated trophies. For example, we have the trophies annually made by our mentor, Nicole and Will. They are crafting the most elaborate designs, and I love having a shelf of diverse trophies throughout the years. This is the novel design for this year, the honeycomb. It's trying to represent James Webb, and I also have it here on my t-shirt if you can kind of like see when I'm moving around. So we're on theme, just because the design is cool and we want to highlight something really fascinating that our community is eagerly waiting for all of those cool photos delivered by James Webb, and then all of the science that's happening in the background. But these are 3D printed, and we have, again, I feel like we're the coolest location with the coolest DIY crafted makerspace made trophies, and that's thanks to Nicole and Will each year. But if we can go to the next slide. I'll tell you how we're actually sustaining ourselves for Space Apps. So, Space Apps is actually volunteer based. We have a lot of volunteers, from the organizing team to mentors and judges. What we raise through generous donations from our mentors, sponsors, partners, judges, organizing team that donates, and volunteers is going directly to you. Usually, we try to cover venue costs. Sometimes if we have enough, we cover transportation for some of you. We try to cover bringing you incredible guests here. For example, if we were to have the budget last year, Garrett Reisman, an astronaut from NASA and then SpaceX, and also the consultant for all mankind, was gonna fly to the NASA Ames base, because he, as an astronaut, can do that, to show that to you guys, to like arrive for the hackathon, because we have amazing collaborators. But often, with the with the dynamics of hackathons, and the dynamics of how many are there in the Bay Area, and how long this process takes to organize it, we try to rely on donations and on partnerships. So we're so grateful if some of you donated through Benevity, because we do have a corporate matching program. Benevity is a platform where you donate and your corporation can match it. But we also accept donations that are singular or just personal through Zephy. And this is a hackathon, again, a part of our flagship events for International Space Alliance, which is a non-for-profit tax-deductible organization that registered here in the Bay Area in California. So that's how we run it. We try to provide the swag for you guys, the materials for trophies. We try to provide everything from food to beverage for the in-person hackathon. With the budget that we're gonna raise, we're gonna do the in-person winner ceremony. And we try to really strive and provide things for communities. And we're hopeful that we're going to raise enough to provide scholarships or have cool speakers like astronauts come and cover their costs and whatnot, because the Bay Area takes a lot of planning, and we want to have participants that are well treated through us. So hopefully, if you can make sure to donate so we sustain another yet successful and huge event. If we go to the next slide, I'll tell you more about the awards and who supported us thus far. So, if you see on the left, we have Microsoft, Microsoft Azure, and Google. And in the email, you will find in the onboarding email, they're a bit long. You're going to find the partners, right? And under the partners, you're going to find the learning resources. So Microsoft Azure has learning paths for the NASA Space Apps Azure and OpenAI Semantic Kernel Learning Path, and the NASA Space Apps GitHub Copilot Learning Path. They're clickable. You can just go click it and explore. And these learning paths were specially designed to prepare you for this hackathon. And Microsoft is one of the this year's global service providers. It's offering free access during October 4th and 5th for Microsoft Teams, Azure, and Planetary Computer if you need these resources, if you want to utilize them or use them. Elastic has a free trial for 14 days that's also sent in your email, and you have a sign up link from Elastic. And for the company name, you can enter the NASA Space Apps. And you have that in the email. If you need it, just drop a message in the chat and we'll give that to you. But also, some of our other sponsors are LifeShip. LifeShip is offering a DNA kit, and later on in the day, we'll send you a folder where you can upload your photos from you hacking that can be sent to the moon through LifeShip. So the winners will get 6 DNA kits where they can have this DNA kit and send their DNA to the moon through LifeShip, and then everybody else in our hackathon gets that access to send your hacking cool photos to the moon. So please take cool photos, tag us on the NASA Space Up Challenge. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, we would love to reshare and kind of like upload all of those when we share the link from LiveShip. MOVA globes are actually globes that are going to be personalized for the winners. They're going to have the credentials. They move by being powered by sunlight. So that's really cool. You're going to have a really cool item, a MOVA globe that's going to be personalized to the winning team. This is for the winning team. And you're going to receive that on the winner's celebration as well. Obviously, you've heard today from Archer and Elastic. You've seen how they can help. We have a lot of mentors coming from Archer in the chat, and Elastic had a brief overview of how you can use it. Aerospace Defense and Review is our conference and media sponsor, where they featured us on the website for you to find us there and register. Red Rock Coffee is an annual sponsor where we get our coffee at. Silicon Valley NASA Ames Research Center is the center that provides us with the venue, provides us with a lot of subject matter experts. We have the directors there. We have the chiefs of technology, innovation, and others come there. We have astronauts flying in. So they have been really collaborative to make the Bay Area the coolest hacking location. Red Bull this year for the winner celebration is coming with a cool limited edition Red Bull Tetris drinks that the winners are gonna drink at our winners celebration. And obviously, Minerva University and Carnegie Mellon University are the university partners that are coming to us and promoting us to their participants. Minerva has a really cool program where every participant has semesters abroad, so they travel from the Bay Area, Japan, Europe, Latin America, and they have these cool semesters and cool experiences while exploring the world as well as a part of learning. And Carnegie Mellon is one of the oldest universities at NASA Ames. research park. We also have Topgolf. They're providing us a relaxing yet kind of like competing participant spirit through vouchers. And we also have Club for the Future. We have them in person. We have a lot of Blue Origin Club for the Future cards sent. We were trying to give them to a lot of participants for you to sign your message on the postcard. And we wanted to send it in space in blue and then bring it back to your address through International Space Alliance. But since Club for the Future now is not happening physically, we're gonna try to make an ESA/Club for the Future virtual card and send it to you so you can sign it and digitally send it to us. So those are the partners that we try to secure for you guys. And obviously, two of these partners, LifeShip and Club for the Future, actually go to space. So you have your a chance to have your DNA to space, your files to space, or your Club for the Future card to space, or your drawings. So we're gonna do a later onboarding email, later, hopefully today, or maybe early tomorrow, where we're gonna onboard you for this and wrap up the digitalization of all of this as a new element and a new challenge for the organizing team. But this is our 3 p.m. checkup. We do have still a lot of work to do. So I'm not gonna take too much of your time. I just want to wish you happy hacking. Please do the best you can. Rely on your mentors, rely on the Discord and Slack channel, and we're gonna see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. So happy hacking, do your best, and see you soon. Bye for today.